Hey, happy New Year's Eve. Welcome to the, I don't know what it's called, daily, I don't know. Apparently, your first 6 seconds on YouTube is so important, and I'm going daily, brilliant. So probably half the people have logged off anyway. Right, welcome to the daily in-play trade guy. No, doesn't work. Right, okay, so yesterday was a good day for us. Today I want to talk to you about a lay to back, and I want to talk to you about a back to lay and a maiden race. So I'm going to have to get through these really quickly. Okay, let's start with a lay to back. So firstly, what I did was fire up the software lay to back. My lay to back settings here, where we went through yesterday. Basically, the gold is telling you how many times a horse didn't decrease by 20%. The green is telling you how many times a horse didn't decrease by 10% in the last 5 races. And I'm saying only show me horses that have not dobbed 100% of the time. So not dobbed 100% of the time in the last 5. So every single horse here has not dobbed in the last 5 runs. So we go through, and by the way, I've crossed out some of these because you can simply go cross if it's not for you. So you can just get rid of it. So there is more than this, but I've gone through a couple, and these are the ones we're left with because of price. Look, they're too big for me. I don't want to have them sort of horses there. Somebody did actually mention, can we have a price criteria as well, so you only see horses that are a certain price? So that will be on the next update, because I think that is a fantastic one, because I don't want to see horses that are above 12s, I suppose, on the exchange. So you can filter them out straight away, which for me is brilliant, because it'll filter out all these ones. I've sorted it, because there's so many, I've sorted it by Betfair current price. So these are the lowest Betfair current price, lowest to highest. You can sort it by green column, gold column, whatever you want. Okay, so we'll start with a 12.50 race at Punchestown. This is my later back that I'm interested in. And the reason being is, if you look here, yes, it decreased by 36% in the last run. However, it only decreased by 8 ticks. A Betfair SP of 60, and it only went down to a Betfair low of 38. Now, 60, Betfair SP down to 38 will take probably £10, that's all. It doesn't take much money whatsoever, especially at Listo. It's not a big race meeting, so it doesn't take much money. So that, my friends, is a nothing move. Even though it says 36.67, it's a nothing move. Now, here, it decreased by 6.67. It decreased 2 ticks, 30 down to 28, so nothing there. Again here, Betfair SP 16.2 down to 12, nothing move really. Here we go, 7.6 down to 7.4. So the last 4 have been really encouraging the market moves for this horse. This one here, obviously, it went from 7.8 to 4.1, which is a fairly substantial move. However, I'm okay with that because of the last 4. Now what I want to see here is in the pace values, I want to see nothing. I want this horse to be predominantly held up. So here we go. Held up, no impression on leaders, in 6 out, pushed along into moderate 5th. Yep. Raced in mid-division, closer in 5th when mistake 4 out, not fluent. See, I love that. Mistake, not fluent. I love it. That is, I'll tell you what, I'm going to write that down because I'm just double checking that we're going to have that in the search criteria. Mistake, not fluent. Yeah, good telly. Okay, and I want to show you something here as well that caught my eye. Position actually won the race, and if you look here, only went down to 1.3. Now, normally when a horse wins a race, it goes down to 0.01 from 5.5, and the in-play high was 90. So when it actually won the race, it still went up to a 90. That, my friends, is because of a running style. This horse needs to be vigorously ridden along, and it needs to be presented right on the line. Listen. Oh, right. So here, as you can see, up there, chase leaders took closer order in third after 3 out, went second at next, strongly ridden to lead on line. This is one of the perfect in-play trades here, Betting Nation. So there's an in-play trade for you, a later back in the 12.50 race at Punchestown. Have a stop loss in there as well, because we don't want to lose a whole stake, because at 6.6, you are still quite a bit of a liability there. Another one that I want to talk about is this one here. I think it's this one, Blue April. And the reason why I am not interested in it so much, come on, there we go, is because, look, he's got a 3 tracked leader. I don't want to trade a horse that tracks leader or for a later back. I want my later backs to be held up, because that, my friends, is when the it's almost a knee-jerk reaction. The market, as soon as a horse is held up, the knee-jerk reaction is it wants to go that way. It wants to go out. That's where the organic pressure will go. It's going to go out. So the fact that this horse is track leader, third, close up, I don't want to know these horses. Not fluent second, running snatches, dropped himself back to detached. I mean, yeah, granted the import figures aren't great, but then here, look at this one, led. So I'm not interested in these sort of horses. So you've got to be, I guess you've got to be disciplined, because there is serious money to be made. There's consistent money to be made at later backs as long as you're disciplined, and you have to have a criteria that works for you. You can use my criteria. It's not really mine, by the way. I've implemented it off Later Donkey, and it wasn't really his. He implemented it off somebody called John, and probably John found it off somebody else as well. But it's what works for you. So you can get all this information from social media, from all the YouTubes. Oh my God, it's 5 minutes already. And then what you do is you take what works for you, what you like. You don't have to listen to everything I say. You can take bits, pieces, because there's nowhere on earth that if you become a member of this software, there is no way that you should just be making money just like that. It can't happen. Well, it can happen, but it's very, very unlikely. It's like a trade. You have to hone your skills in. You have to put the time and effort in. It's not something that's going to be a magic money tree. You're not simply going to buy it and you're going to make consistent money. You have to hone your skills. But what I'm saying is that this software has the potential to make you guys consistent money from the exchanges, as long as you do things correctly, have discipline, work out what works for you, just trial and error. Start small and then slowly build your bank up. It's absolutely incredible. If you would have told me that I would have designed this software 9 months ago, something as crazy as this, and I tell you, I'm just over the moon with it. But not only that, do you know what? In the future, in the next month or so, we are going to blow your socks off. I know I keep talking about it, but I cannot wait to show you the next part of this software, what it is going to be able to do. Right, forget all that. Let's go now to, which one do I want to talk about now? Don't want to talk about that one yet. No. Let's have a look. I want to talk to you about a maiden race. I love maidens. Jim Palace. Now, what race is this? I absolutely love maiden race. 12:50, 12:10, sorry. So maiden races, I like maiden races. A lot of people don't, and the reason why they don't is because there is not enough historical data to go off. However, I like that because you aren't playing against a lot of in-play traders, professional in-play traders. You are playing against the general public, which for me, it gives me an edge. So here, as you can see, Jim Palace is 2.12. It's raced 3 times and it's dobbed 0. So automatically I'm thinking, hello, hello, hello. So I want to look at this one a bit further. What happened? And look, it went in there. Betfair SP, 40s to 34. 80 didn't go any lower. 141 don't go any lower. And then we can see here, dropped out in rear from wide draw. And I'm thinking, oh, wide draw? Hello, wide draw. It's in 9 today. So the chances are that it's going to get dropped out again. And if a horse gets dropped out again, then it is going to go up in price. It's the yin and the yang effect. When this happens, that's got to happen. It just happens. It's kind of the rules of the exchange. And when you understand the rules, then you can deploy these rules into your favour. Right, so we can see here that it says exactly what we want. It says pace, 0. So it's in midfield at best, held up most of the time, and then dropped in rear because of a wide draw. It's got a wide draw here. And so what we want now, because then it's not just one horse. You've got to remember there's a number of horses, number of factors that have to come into play for this to happen. And so what we want to see now is there something else that we can take this on with? Can we later back this horse, or can we back to lay another horse? And then so I want to see a second favourite. And all of a sudden, I go like that because this horse hasn't run. And as you guys know, if you've been listening to me a long time, I like to, if a horse hasn't ran, then normally the averages say that this horse is normally a little bit green. At some point in the race, this horse will be a little bit green and the horse goes like that. Normally drifts out. And so there's no way I want to take on Jim Palace with crackling. There's just no way. Of course not, because it's never ran before. And then here I'm looking at this one and I'm thinking, And so because there's not a lot of opposition, I can't do anything with Jim Palace. I can't do anything whatsoever. And that for me is frustrating because I do really want to later back this horse because it's in 9 and the chances are that it will be dropped out in the rear. However, there is nothing really substantial until you get to 8s on the Betfair price. So these two have the vast majority of the market share, the big market percentage. So what happens to this will affect that. What happens to this will affect that. And I am not, you're gambling. You're basically gambling on if Crackling needs its run, if it knows what it's doing, if it's very good in the stalls, coming out of the stalls. You're gambling on this. And the fact that this is in stall 13 as well, it's a play that I don't want to do. But I just wanted to give you an insight into the way I think, because the more I can tell you how I think, the more that you guys can implement it and use different bits. And I'm like a milking a cow. Beep, 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 beep. Every single video I do something stupid. Tick. Right, so I just wanted to give you an insight into the way I think, because if I can help you guys in any way, then that's great for me. So let's go on to the one that we've been looking for. So what did I do to find this horse, the Impler Trade? I went through. There's no horses that have led for the last 3 times today, so I've gone through all these just to pinpoint horses. And so I've gone Smooth Traveller. Last 3 runs, I want to see 25% and over. That's been in the comments in running. And there is, I think there's 3, is he? There is 3. And so this one immediately caught my eye because of a price. And so I had a look at this one. Don't get me wrong, 2.28 is on the short side. I never ever trade anything lower than 2 because it's too hard to get your money in and out. But 2.28 is workable. We can get 30% out of there. And so let's have a look. Let's have a closer look. 11.39, I never thought it'd take this long. God, I just talk. Right, so we know it's top 5 out of the last 5. We know it's hit my green 80% of the time as well. It's won the last 4 races. And it's also here has traded 9.6 into 2.28, 76. So we have a look at the comments running. Held up towards rear. Smooth progress. Smooth progress. That is the key there. Smooth progress. Although it's in the rear, like I said, I'm contradicting myself from what I said previously. But because it's in the rear, if it travels well, then the market knows this travels well. You can see here, it doesn't react to the fact it's being held up. So whatever the market trumps anything in the previous runs. So we can see here that Betfair SP was 3.8 and it only went to a high of 3.95. So this horse, although it's been held up, it doesn't go higher in price. The way it runs, the running style, overrides the fact that it's held up. Here, 2.1 goes to 2.8. I've watched the race. I don't know why this ever went to 2.8, to be honest. No idea how that could have ever gone to 2.8. Held up, smooth progress over 2 furlong. More than a length lead. It was always going to win, by the way. 11s. Held up. And the highest it went was 9.4. Even though it was held up, the highest it went was 9.4. Crazy. 3.17. The highest it went was 3.1. This horse is a serial travel smoothly type. And so what I like to do as well, I just like to see horses I want to do a bit more homework, because yes, although it's great to have all this data here and information, but there's nothing like quite seeing it visually with my eyes. That's for me. I know there's plenty of traders out there who don't do that, and that's great. That's great for them, and just whatever works for you. You don't have to implement everything I say. You've got to do what works for you, and this works for me. So I go across here, I have a look, and by the way, I do pay for this, but you can get it for free. On Spot in Life, and you can get it. I don't know. There's loads of different places you can get video replays for free, so you don't need to pay. And you can go Casper the Cub. So we'll have a look. Casper the Cub. Leave that bit there, and we will go play replay. Now don't worry, I won't play both replays for you because I don't want to bore the living daylights out of you. And there's no horse that's run out of this race. You can see here. So I always check the form as well, see how the form's working out. But there's no horses, and it's drawn in stall 6. So we can see, I always look there, stall 6. As we can see, held up straight away. But the great thing is, I always think it's the way that the horse comes out of the stalls that matters. And you can see the horse, it was by design. There was no being left at the start. There was no detached. There was no angling to try and get out. It was just by design, just lovely. Let it do its own thing, the horse. And if a jockey lets it do its own thing, predominantly the market won't react to that. Unless it's so far behind, then obviously it's bound to react. You learn these things because you watch years and years and years and years and years how the market reacts to certain things. And the great thing is you don't have to have the knowledge, because the software tells you everything you need to know. The software has it all there for you. You don't need to have the knowledge there because all you got to do is look at the previous in-play stats and it tells you how the market reacted to the running style, which is great. So let's fast forward it on then a little bit. So you can see here, there he is there on the rail. Just travels so smoothly through his races. I think it's a he. Yeah, it's a he, Gelding. And he's been improved because I think of a cheat pieces or something anyway. Some pieces has been improved, so that's why he's won 4-4. And for the people out there who saying, but Dean, this is at Kempton, he's on the 4-timer at Kempton. I know that. And so I've gone back through its form and I've had a look at this. And so, has it run at Lingfield before? And yes, it has. It's ran at Lingfield once and it came second. It was beaten at 4-7. But if you look here, it ran at Kempton there and it was 79. Now, yes, the second to the third run, you would expect some improvement. And it decreased by 78. So it decreased, sorry, it got a rating of 78. It decreased by 1. So you could say it's a small worry, but it's only a small worry because it was a 78. One thing I'm actually done, which I should do actually, is go back and let's have a look. I've got so many in-play place thingies up to pages up. Right, so let's have a look. No, it's not on that. Oh yeah, it's it. Here we go. We should have a look to see what it traded at because I've never ever seen it before. Haven't actually looked into this. So we go down and have a look. Lingfield. We're absolutely fine and dandy. Look at that, 1.7 into 1.21. It was a 49 tick decrease, which is huge. It's huge. Especially at that price. That for me is a really big market move considering it didn't win as well. So that just strengthens my position. Yes, there's an element of doubt there, of course there is. But, however, it's just a little bit. And do you know what you can do as well, guys? If you want to take a note of this horse for next time it runs, if today it does exactly the same, travels really smoothly and goes down in price, you can actually make a comment. And it comes up here. I'll tell you what. Smooth traveller held up type doesn't go up in price. Boom. You can submit it and there you go. Bang, it's there. And next time this horse runs, it will be emailed to you. How cool is that? And what else is he? Oh yeah, you can press select. And so I put that in my betting basket if you like, in my selections, and that's it. Right. A 5-minute video that's taken 17 minutes. Holy schmuck. Sorry about that. Right, whatever you're doing this New Year's Eve, have a great one. I've got to do a podcast now about football. By the way, if you don't know, I have a podcast. I do about 5 podcasts a week. The Betting Guy podcast, just search it or go across to thebettingguy.co.uk and you will see the podcast there. I think it's called Episodes or something stupid like that. Anyway, we're redesigning the website so it looks real cool and funky. Right, Betting Nation, thank you so much for tuning in. I am DMB and there is much man love here for each and every single goddamn one of you. Thank you so much. Ta-ra!